Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my conscious living community where you receive the tools to support conscious living, mental health, and emotional intelligence. Today, I'm going to be explaining how your past is impacting you every day and causing you to recreate it without you even knowing it. Then, I'm going to give you some very useful tips on how to stop this terrible thing from happening. As you can tell, today's video format is a bit different, so let me know what you think. Let's get started. Every memory and thought you have is tied to an emotion or feeling, and vice versa. Every feeling or emotion you have is tied to a memory or thought. Now, depending on how vividly you recall any one painful memory, or something that's sad or angering or undesirable at all, you can cause an emotional response or reaction equal to or greater than the one that you had when the event actually occurred. So think about it. Every painful breakup always gets worse after the fact, right? As the days go on. Or if you lose a loved one in death, which I just experienced for the first time, December 31st, 2018, when my dad passed away. That pain gets exponentially worse before it starts to get any better, right? Why is that? Well, it's because the human brain is capable of two very remarkable and awesome skills that no other creature that we know of possesses. Those skills are a vivid imagination, I should say a very vivid imagination, and the ability to have detailed recollection or a collection of memories. So most people, myself included, after waking up in the morning and maybe saying a prayer or two or 10, start to automatically rehash our life's problems or worries. I like to call these our open undesirable loops. And it's not necessarily because we're sad or depressed or anything, but that's just how most of us start the process of planning our day, right? I mean, we wake up and while we're brushing our teeth or making the coffee or showering or even while we're praying sometimes, we'll be thinking about all of the issues, big or small, that were left unresolved from yesterday or from last week or last month or from 10 years ago, because that's what our life has been comprised of. Be it money, love, family issues, work issues, health concerns, or whatever. Our brain, the human brain, is always in problem solving mode. So before you even realize it, before the crust is even out of your eyes good, your brain is up like filing paperwork and shit. It's damn near making a list and checking it twice of all those undesirable loops in the state that we left them in yesterday, in the past, which of course the state is always undone or incomplete, or at least it's less than desirable, which is why it's on the list. Well, what's the matter with that? If that's how you plan your day and how you organize yourself in the morning, what's wrong with having this go on in your brain? Well, remember what I said in the beginning of the video. Every thought or memory that you have is tied to a feeling. And every feeling you have is tied to a memory or thought, right? And we know psychology teaches us that it is impossible to act greater than how you think or feel. So before you know it, out of seemingly nowhere, first thing in the morning, you start to have these feelings, these awful, quiet, creeping feelings that belong to each of those negative, open, undesirable loops that you know of. Like if it's money you're thinking about, the feeling might be anxiety or depression or feeling like you're just unsuccessful or like you're a failure. And then you start thinking more along the lines of what a failure would think. Or you start to feel more like a depressed person would feel and think. And then you start to act more like those feelings and thoughts. Or if it's love that you're thinking about, then the feeling might be of loneliness, sadness, unworthiness, guilt, or even anger, vengefulness, feeling betrayed. And then you start to think more like someone who is lonely or unworthy or an angry person, and you start to feel it more, and then you think it more, and then you start acting like it. Or If it's work, let's say you're thinking about work, then the feelings might be like, say if you have a boss who is just a tyrant, okay, he's verbally abusive, he doesn't care about his employees, you might start thinking about what he said to that one person you worked with last week and how wrong it was and how you would react if he were ever to have the nerve to say that to you. Then you might start trying to predict what type of mood he'll be in today, and then how you will need to be or alter yourself to be in order to deal with him today. And then, I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but I know it's happened to me. Your stomach might actually start to hurt a little bit. And this is from the anxiety that's being stirred up. And remind you now, you're still just standing in front of the mirror in your bathroom brushing your teeth. But all of a sudden, you have that feeling, that old achy feeling like it's just going to be a bad day, right? You're not excited. You're not hopeful. And you're definitely not creating and rehearsing your perfect day. See, your brain, as amazing as it is, doesn't know how to tell the difference between a feeling that stems from a memory that you're activating while standing safely in your house versus the one that occurs from the actual event taking place. So it's like a domino effect, a chain reaction. Once you start to feel those awful gut feelings, anxiety, failure, loneliness, anger, whatever it is, you start thinking according to how you feel, which produces more feelings to support those thoughts. And then your output for the entire day is low because you're unable to act greater than how you feel and think. And then that energy is what you carry out the door, all because your brain wanted to file some damn paperwork early in the morning, right? I mean, but seriously, what's really happening is your brain has just taken you on a crash course of your past, stirring up all of these unwanted and unnecessary emotions, reactions, without you even realizing it, or maybe with you realizing it, which is because the untrained mind, which Buddhist monks refer to as a monkey mind, gets caught up in replaying these old undesirable loops and will keep playing them over and over again until we force it to stop. Like, imagine an actual untrained monkey just running around. It's all hopped up on sugar and caffeine, running around without anyone controlling it. That's kind of what our brain does. 90% of what you think about is a repeat from the day before. And since we now know that every thought and memory is attached to an emotion, that means that up until now, you have been basically a walking, talking replica of your past. And it doesn't matter how badly you want to be a better person or how badly you want to have a better life. Until you break this pattern for good, it's simply not going to happen. Is that how you want to live? As a broken record of the past? I know I don't. So how do you change it? Well, you come up with a plan and you get clear in that plan on what it is you want the end result of all of your open undesirable loops to be. That's how you do it. So you grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen and write down what those knee-jerk reaction thoughts are that wake you up first thing in the morning, that are on your mind first thing in the morning or right before you go to bed. What are those major things in your life that are still unopened and undesirable? And then, in your perfect imagination and creation of your perfect day, how would each of those undesirable loops be resolved? And I don't mean, let's say money is your issue. I don't mean saying, well, I'm just going to be rich one day. Or if love is your issue, I don't mean saying, well, I'm going to find a good man or a good woman one day. No, I mean, you have to create in detail an image of the end result that you want. And after you have that image in mind, wake up every day and instead of playing the old memories of the past, play those new memories that you're creating for your future. Because we already know what happens when the old loops start playing, right? So then what happens to your brain when you start programming your mind for a better future? Well, nothing's going to happen at first. Well, not really nothing. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel unfamiliar. It's going to feel unknown to you because you haven't done this before. You probably have not sat down and just allowed yourself to daydream in wild, vivid, detailed imagination like only us humans can do it since you were a child, probably. And because the human brain and because our bodies can become so addicted to emotions, it's going to feel icky at first. Like, you're going to be like, what am I doing? Why am I wasting time visioning, something that's never going to happen? Or this is crazy, or this is a waste of time. But stay with it. If you watched my video on procrastination and how to fix it, then you know that whenever you're trying to break a habit, whenever you're trying to put on a new personality and become a better person, make a change in your life, that feeling of uncomfortableness, having doubt, having reservation, all of that is a sign that you are on the right path. The path to stretching yourself past your emotional comfort zones. And it's once you get outside of that comfort zone, that's where possibility and magic happen. And to what end? What's the point of all this? The point is so that you can live a better life and consciously attract better circumstances in your life by starting your day with an elevated energy and a clear view of the day in front of you. This is key to using the law of attraction. And let me tell you, meditation is the greatest way to get into this mindset in the morning. So from now on, when you wake up, before you pick up your phone, before you return a text message, before you even check the weather or speak to anyone if possible, start by giving yourself just 10 minutes in the morning to quietly sit and meditate on the type of day that you intend to have. And the purpose is not to magically create that day for yourself when you're starting, on day one. The purpose is just to elevate your energy from out of that negative old rhetoric. So do not allow any negativity into the room when you're meditating, into your mind when you're meditating. Do not allow any judgment. No matter how wild your fantasy gets, allow yourself to just go there in your imagination. It won't hurt anyone, I promise. Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited, but imagination is limitless. So dare to imagine how perfect your life can be, and I promise you'll start to attract better circumstances and you'll break that pattern of repeating a negative past. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a heart emoji in the comments if you like this new format, or leave me a crying emoji if you prefer to see my face. If you're new to the channel and you would like to subscribe, please don't forget to click the red subscribe button below. And if you are one of my 1,704 subscribers, woo woo, I love you guys all to the max. More light, life, peace, and abundance to you all. Thank you so much for watching.